All right, so today I'm gonna on the training side, and then we can do some questions afterwards. I'm gonna show you guys the custom fields for opportunities. Pretty simple stuff. This will try to be real quick, but I will share my screen here real quick. All right, so just like custom fields for contacts, first of all, I've had a few people ask kind of what is the use case for custom fields for opportunities, which is probably a good thing to just pass over really quickly because folks have been like, we already have custom fields for contacts. Like, what's the difference? What do I use them for? And all that kind of stuff. So I figured I would give you guys kind of like a practical example that I can think of. And this is something my younger brother has asked me about because he has his own fencing company. I've done other training videos where we've worked on his HighLevel account because I'm helped him get his HighLevel going, all that good stuff. And in the fencing world, you have, estimates going out to people all the time. You're doing bids. You're trying to keep information straight on, they told me the backside of my fence needs to be replaced, plus like a gate, and then they might change their mind and say, no, actually, we don't want to do the backside of the fence. We want to do like the front of the fence instead. And then, so you're now changing the estimate, changing the bid, all this kind of stuff. They might also come back to a year later and say like, yeah, last year you did the backside of my fence. Now we want you to do the side of my fence. So the question is like, where are we going to store all of this information? Because we can store it on the contact. Like if we go to contacts in HighLevel, you guys could see, I have a little demo contact here set up. So you guys have seen like, these are kind of the two buckets they give you on contacts by default, the general info. Then you have additional info. And anytime you create an additional custom field, unless you create another folder, other than additional info, all of those custom fields are going to go into this contact. So this becomes, challenging when, especially if you're doing multiple jobs for somebody, like if you think of HighLevel compared to like a job or HighLevel compared to like, I don't know, another platform that's designed to manage like service industry type stuff. It's kind of abnormal to store all of this like information on the contact level because it's always shifting and changing and you want to track it over time. You don't want to have to replace like an estimate price on the contact. You want to be able to see like, oh, I gave them this estimate, then they made this change, then I gave them this estimate, then they made this change. So if you wanted to do that all on the contact, it would be kind of ridiculous, right? Because you'd have like, well, estimate number 1, estimate number 2, estimate number 3, and then you would need to have 3 slots for estimates on every single contact. Well, every single contact's not going to need 3 estimates. Only, 10% of the contacts are going to need the 3 estimates. And so a lot of this problem of kind of like where to put data can be sorted out by storing a portion of your data on the opportunity level, not on the contact level itself. And so then you can think about like, well, okay, so if somebody comes to me and they want a new fence, this is kind of like the first potential job I'm going to do with them. So I'll store that job information on this first opportunity. But then if they come back 6 months later and they want another job, well, we've already resolved that other opportunity. Now we kind of need to re-win their business again, right? Because now they're talking to 3 different people again and trying to consider us alongside of 3 other potential people that might do the job. So a whole new other opportunity, whole new other set of data that comes along with that opportunity. So if we're back on the opportunity view, I have just like a sample opportunity in here, and you guys can see that I created another folder called job information. And like, this was just supposed to be like a really simple kind of version of this. And we just have a place for a job description. We added a file. So this is a multi-line field. This is a file upload field. And this is a field to store revenue values. I forget what they call those fields, but monetary fields. And so practically, like the way this looks in HighLevel is when you go to create custom fields, notice how under here, under the object, like this is contact object, contact object, contact object. And then up here we have opportunity object, opportunity. And just so you guys know too, for your own reference, like whenever you're using anything in HighLevel that has the brackets, right? Any variable, you'll always notice that whatever object type it is, so if it's a contact object, it's always going to say contact dot, and then that's your special key for that field. So now that they have custom opportunity fields, it's going to be opportunity dot, whatever the name of the field is. And it's going to be that way with everything. So if you're working with a custom value, it'll be custom underscore value dot the name of the custom value. If it's an appointment in the system, it'll be appointment dot, so on and so forth. Trigger links, trigger underscore link dot, just so you guys kind of know how the data structure in HighLevel is working. So you can always tell what you're looking at, even by just looking at this key. Okay, well, that's an opportunity, custom field. So when you go, so first, what I did is I created a folder which shows up on that opportunity view we were just on. So if you add a folder, you have the option now to add a folder to the contact or the opportunity object. And so, for example, if we added like test right here to the opportunity object, now we have a new test folder. So if we go to add a field, let's say we wanted to do drop down multiple like this with several different options, and we could call this one like type of fence. And then we'll add this to the opportunity object instead of the contact object. And then we could do, wood. Add an option for vinyl or whatever. And then now we have this job information folder that we created there. Now we should also see, let me refresh, because we should also see our other folder. Where that just went. Type of fence. Okay. So we'll just edit this one. Oh, it doesn't let us change the group after. That's right.
It's in the context object.
There we go. Wait a second. Am I even spelling that right? Zivian.
This time I did.
Alrighty. So anyways, so if we go back to the opportunities, we open this one now. Now we have our test folder. We have our job information folder, but we have our test, and that's where now we have our wood or vinyl. And so for anybody that's like service industry that is trying to keep information like where there's a bunch of information that on the job itself, but not necessarily information that gets carried to the contact. This is extremely useful to be able to add custom fields on the opportunities. And then, of course, the ability to interact with that information in a workflow is huge without keeping your contact records full of a bunch of random information that's always getting changed out and all that kind of stuff. So we're currently thinking of like all the potential ways that we could use this at Extendly also to better organize our contact data structure. because the same could be true for digital products. You know, if you have somebody in your pipeline for like small business snapshot, or somebody in your pipeline for SaaS agency snapshot, or maybe they're interested in onboarding, or maybe they're interested in, you know, support. There's information that we collect that's different for each of those journeys. And so like our contact records, it's very easy for them to get very polluted with a bunch of different information from all the different touch points that we have with people. So keeping some of that broken down on the opportunity level might be a good way to like kind of start cleaning up some of that data. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you guys today. Go ahead, Heidi.
My question would be, do you want to make a workflow that's automatically saving it into the notes because it's not necessarily permanent, and then the next time a quote would come through, it would overwrite that?
Well, it doesn't overwrite it, because which is one of the benefits. If you store it on the contact level, if similar information comes in again, it would overwrite it on the contact. But on an opportunity level, you would just create another opportunity. So like if somebody comes in and they want like the front side of their fence done in January, but then like they come back in March and they're like, now we want the back side of our fence done. Instead of overwriting all the information you had for like the first project on the contact record, you could now store all that information to a brand new opportunity for them. Because technically you've already, you know, won that opportunity before. Like you got the business, you did the job. Now they're resolved on some pipeline as one. But now they're going to re-enter your sales pipeline again because you're going through a new cycle with them of trying to sell them on the second job now, which is a whole separate set of information. So you definitely don't want to overwrite
So the folder
the
would be
first set.
named test, let's say, or like 2023. Then the next year, and you'd use the, you know, what type of wood is it, or what kind of material. Then you would do opportunity. The next one would be like 2024 or test 2. And then you'd use the same, what kind of wood, but it wouldn't overwrite it. It would just simply write it into the second opportunity thing that you made, test 2.
Yeah. So
How
if
would you
you're
do the
this,
second one? Do the second one like next year
yeah.
to come back.
So if you're the type of person that or the type of business rather that's going to be doing multiple jobs like this is kind of like a crucial setting that you need to enable in settings. So in the sub account settings, you have to allow duplicate opportunities, which means more than one opportunity of the person that has the primary key, which is the email or phone number associated with opportunity, you know, would get used in the same pipeline. So if we go back to opportunities, it's also common, by the way, like for people that are doing this for the opportunity details, to not be the name of the contact necessarily. Like most service businesses actually prefer, you know, like they would do something like, and these would likely be, so you might do like contact first name, and then like then you might have one that's like, you know, white
job
fence,
address. It'd be more like, yeah, like the homeowner's name, and then the address would be like the job name, for example.
Yeah.
Would you put like a year or two or something like that? Like if you do it like you said, every year or every couple of years?
Something like this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wouldn't want it to be too long, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely not going to be just their name anymore. The contact is still the same, you know. But anyway, so let's say that was our, I don't know why it didn't pull the merge tags in. I must have messed that up somehow.
So I have a something I'm working on now, making a snapshot, and the tutor sees the student every week, let's say, and then what I did is I made it like we talked about before, it updated the values, the custom values. Would I be able to do it in here instead and like have session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, or would that not be? Because it's going to have the same form they're going to fill out, like what date was it, did they show up, and stuff like that, notes for the student, notes for the internal notes.
Well, there's an appointment object in the system also that stuff can be stored to. So like appointment notes and all that kind of stuff can be stored on the appointment object. But there is not yet custom fields available for the appointment object. So normally I think of another opportunity as like, this is like another opportunity to sell, to resell them again. If it's like a recurring appointment or like they book 4 sessions or something like that, it's not really another opportunity. I mean, you could, if you needed it to be the case, like just to hack the system together, you could, but if so, this is an example, like same opportunity. And then like we could just do like test 2 or something. And so here's 2 opportunities for the same contact. Now, this is also really common, like anytime you're working with a big company, this could be like a franchise with multiple locations. This could be not even a franchise, but like, service industry, for example, like you go out and you're like, let's say you're a pressure washing company and it's like, or a home services company, exterior. So there's driveway, there's roof that you could paint the outside of their house. And so you might pitch like the whole shebang to them where it's like, hey, we're going to do this and this and this. And then they come back to you and they're like, well, we only want you to paint the house, but we're not going to clean the roof right now, but we do want to clean the roof in the springtime. So it's like, okay, so opportunity to paint the house right now. We're launching that through. Opportunity to do, the roof in the springtime. Like we're going to move that opportunity into like a long-term nurture, for springtime. And we're not going to be painting the house when we come back because we already did that in January or what, January is too cold to paint houses, but you know what I'm saying? So you kind of split it up that way. But both of those opportunities are for the same contact. That's really common. Do you need landscaping and snow removal? Just landscaping, just snow removal, in the service industry, that's going to be super common. Okay. We got 3 hand raises. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
So on the part going back to construction, for example, so you have, where do those opportunities go after they make it to the pipeline? But there could be multiple. Let's say there's multiple. I guess 2 things I'm thinking about. There could be multiple customers, right? And then each customer has multiple opportunities. Like one could be the fence, one could be the roof, one could be whatever, right? What would I guess first of all, where would those opportunities lie after they make it through the pipeline? Do they just fall off the map and we don't ever keep track of them, or can it get pushed to a spreadsheet, or what? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, how do you go back to see these opportunities at a later date? And then the second thing would be like, well, if there's multiple opportunities for each customer and there's a big, ginormous, long list of them, I guess it's just not like when you talk to a person one time, how do you know you need to talk to them about multiple things? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so an opportunity, it doesn't go away unless you delete it. So an opportunity, and normally you should not be deleting opportunities. So even when an opportunity is resolved on a pipeline as won or lost or abandoned, the opportunity is still there. It's just filtered out of view because the standard HighLevel view only shows you open opportunities. So like real quick, if I share again, you can see what I mean. So like this view, sort by. Oh, they changed this. Oh, here we go. Filter. So the filter is set to open. So like if I click on this and move this to 1, it's like, my opportunity's gone. Where did it go? You know? But if you change this to, you can add a filter if you do status is 1 now. See now how it says like it's green? So we won that. And so that'll show you. So you can also add, if you want to show, you could show all of them. If you want to show the ones, you can show the loses. Now they have this lost reason thing. I don't really know. But now we have a lost. So there's one more status for abandoned. So you have open, abandoned, lost, 1. But the opportunities will always still be there on the pipeline. So on the contact level, you can always scroll down and see under opportunities, like if there's more than one, you could see what opportunities are down there and on what pipelines they exist. And then you can also click on these buttons to actually open all that information on that particular opportunity again.
And it's color coded, whether it's won or lost.
Yep. Abandon has its own color also.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
But guys, I have to be a little short on today's one because I have another call going on right now. Actually, technically 5 minutes ago. But
Rob asked that question. I don't know if Rob is still there.
Yeah, Rob, sorry, you did get kind of stranded there. If you have a question, toss it out real quick and then I'll shut it down.
Maybe he's not here. Okay. All right.
Thanks, guys.
I see. There's a question. There's a question that says, can you have different opportunities, custom fields by pipeline, or are the new fields universal over all opportunities?
Opportunities are always specific to a pipeline. So you can have, if duplicate opportunity is enabled, that just means you can have more than one opportunity for the same contact in any pipeline. But you can move opportunities from one pipeline to another, but you don't want to do that, you want to, if you need to add another instance of them in another pipeline. Like just one quick example is, an opportunity that takes someone from beginning to end on your sales process, that's one flow, right? Now, taking that person from like they haven't left a review to they've left a review is another flow. So if you pull them out of your sales pipeline and put them in the review pipeline, now you just lost all record that you just closed them on the sales pipeline. So you want to leave them in the sales pipeline, but open another opportunity for them in the review pipeline. So that way you can track those two processes separate of each other.
Cool.
All right, guys.
All right.
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, Zach.
Take care, man.
Yep.
Bye.
See you guys.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.